the American pastime is baseball.
So sports, music, you brought music into it.
The other thing was jazz, because a lot of the people in my family are musicians, and you know, at that time in the 40s, it was all baseball and jazz. So that's the center of the movie.
That's right, and that's what comes across. And so well, the costuming is so perfect, of course, and it fits. You think about it as the jazz era when you see the film. The film is so well done. Where did you do it on location?
We shot in Utah. It's set at the Topaz camp, which is in Utah, and we shot about an hour away from it. And we actually constructed barracks that were based on the original blueprints of the real barracks.
How'd you find those?
It's all government. The government did all of it.
It's all there. And so it wasn't a big budget film.
No, it was $4 million, which is very modest for this level movie because it's not a tiny movie.
No, and you were able to do all this building of your sets and the costuming and your actors all.
Yeah, it's a period movie. We built an internment camp, and it was a very difficult shoot, but we shot very quickly, and I think it does not look like a small movie.
How long did it take you to write the film once you got started?
Well, the writing process evolved over a couple years, but it took also a long time to get the financing.
Why did it take so long? Because it seemed like, I don't know, something that Americans should hear about. You had baseball in it. You had subject matter that was interesting to the public.
Well, I mean, if you look at the movies out, there's not too many movies like this.
I love this movie. This movie was great, and it didn't end like all sports movies do, you know? It had like this ending that you're like expecting something to happen, and then you start doing all these different things at the end.
We won't give away the ending, but
no, but that's what I'm saying. It's a different kind of a action.
Well, I think that's one of the things. It is unique in both the background, and the background story is the camps. The foreground is really about family, two different families. One's a guard, the American guard, and his family, and the other is an internment family from Los Angeles.
And the interaction, right?
Yeah, I combined them because I wanted anybody to be able to see this movie and understand it. It's not a history lesson. It's not didactic. It's an entertainment.
So tell us a little bit about the casting. You don't have to just have Japanese people cast in it.
No, we had a real assortment of different types of actors. The parents are played by major Japanese stars. Masatoshi Nakamura and Judy Ong play the parents who are big stars in Japan.
So did they have to come here, or did they live
came here?
Oh,
no,
they came here.
here.
So did you go and audition them there, or what did you do?
We were very fortunate. We had the casting director who did Last Samurai and major movies.
Oh, great.
So we saw the best people in Japan. We had that, and the American side we had Gary Cole, who from Talladega Nights, and Sarah Drew, who was in Everwood. And,
so good.
And for the younger boys in the movie, we have Leonardo Nam, who was in Fast and Furious, and Aaron Yu, who was just in Disturbia. Right. So we have a real diverse cast.
But they're all well, the Japanese in the camp were Asians. They didn't have to be Japanese, actually.
In terms of the casting,
yeah.
I cast whoever I thought was best for the role.
That's what I was wondering. The other thing that I think brought the sports out, and I know we were talking about it before, is this John Kruk.
John
Kruk, announcer.
John Kruk is great. He was a great baseball star, and then he's been on ESPN for quite a while as a commentator. He's a very funny guy. He came in, did the movie. He's the announcer at the ballpark, and he's very funny.
So how did you get him?
Barry, the producer,
Barry
found him and brought him in.
What about, what did you shoot on? Was that a special kind of...
We shot on Super 35.
Is that special?
We wanted it to have the real film. I didn't want to shoot on video. I wanted it to have the expansiveness of film, and also because it's period, it's hard for video to look like period.
Oh, that's why. I see. So that was important.
Absolutely.
What you were doing. One of the things that I thought was interesting was the reaction when it was shown in Japan by the real Japanese people living in Japan who didn't know a lot about this.
Well, the Japanese reaction is quite different because this is a very American story. All the people involved in the story are American, but they look at it from if they had come here as immigrants.
Oh, they were, oh, I see.
So their point of view is quite different.
They were putting themselves
plus
in
they
there?
know the stars.
Oh,
but
right.
Also, it's a very emotional movie. They like emotional movies.
So they really loved it, huh?
It went over very well there. But in a way, it's similar to Letters from Iwo Jima, which is also our movie is with Warner Brothers, which had Letters from Iwo Jima. But they didn't know, the Japanese people did not know that story, which is their own story. And just as the Americans don't know this story of the internment here, which is our American story.
Yeah, that was very interesting, I thought, the way the Japanese and the Americans interacted and watching your film.
Well, that's one of the things about the movie. When I conceived it, I really wanted different kinds of people to be able to look at it, and they would take whatever they'll take from it. But I showed it to a young girl who saw it, and she thought the girl's story, who was a girl going off to college and being in love, that it was her story. So that's great.
So everyone looks at it as their own, because it
Everybody
does
can
have
relate to it in their
family.
own way. It's really about family. That's what
Yeah.
I wanted it to be about.
Yeah, that's great. What's next?
We'll see.
Oh, we'll see. Are you writing, or are
I'm
you
writing
going to
right
direct?
now. Yeah, I'm writing right now.
And do you do everything in Los Angeles, or do you go out and write?
Well, no, I write here in Los Angeles. I live in Los Angeles, but you direct wherever you can get the
Are
gig.
you still doing music?
I did a little bit of the music for American Pastime.
You played it or you wrote it?
I wrote one of the songs, and two of the other songs I wrote with friends of mine, and the jazz song. So that was a lot of fun. The music's to me, a lot more fun than movies, but movies are my main thing.
But you can't help it, right? You're stuck in the film business.
I'm stuck.
Desmond, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you for watching the Joan Quinn Profiles today. Keep writing to 777 South Figueroa, 44th floor, Los Angeles 90017. We'll see you next time. Thank you.
Great.